Some of the best honey that I like and I use that maybe a lot of people don't know about or never heard of. Any guesses? Manuka. Manuka honey. It sounds kind of funny. Say it with me. Manuka. Manuka. So what is Manuka honey? Why is it promoting like such great health boosting properties and all kinds of great stuff? Well, good question. Here's some simple answers. Basic answers. So Manuka honey comes from the Manuka plant, and that is in New Zealand. And so why is Manuka said to be so much more potent than other honey? Your regular honey that you walk into the store, you buy a 3-pack, 4-pack, single jar of honey, because of the methyl glyoxal levels. Say that with me one time. Methyl glyoxal. And because of that, and the amount to be so much higher found in Manuka, it carries so many various health boosting properties. The honey itself is said to have antibiotic properties, antibacterial properties. This is a big one for me. Anti-inflammatory properties. That's a big one. I love that because a lot of things are related to people having inflammation, inflammatory responses, things like that. But the strength of it is quite amazing after I've done some research on it, read about it. I have some. That's what I use myself personally. And let's dive into a couple of the amazing benefits. Of course, helps heals wounds, burns, things like that, abscesses even. Helps combat bacteria strains, a lot of them. Staphylococcus has one, just to name that. What else? Digestive issues. That's something that I'm big about because I know that digestion is, a lot of times if that's like on point with a lot of people, so are a lot of other things. So that's big for me as well. It addresses things like stomach ulcers, colds, sore throats, flu-type symptoms, things like that. Like I said, inflammation inhibits systemic inflammation. It assists in that as well. What else? You guys heard of pink eye, conjunctivitis, things like that. GI problems, sinus infections. It eases all that stuff. Promotes tissue healing. UTI infections, helps avoid that, the development of that. And what else? Check this out. There was a study done on it where it actually is able to target and eliminate about 250 clinical bacterial strains, such as MRSA, MSSA, VRE, and H. pylori, guys. You know what H. pylori is? Just mind-blowing to see that honey can have properties as such. The things that I mentioned. Amazing. What else? Contains amino acids, antioxidants, B vitamins, various minerals, all that stuff. I'm not naming all the minerals and all the amazing benefits. This is just a quick summary about it. And since that honey comes from New Zealand, the quality of the honey is strictly monitored by the unique Manuka Factor Honey Association. So it sounds funny when that's being said, but I can understand why the guidelines, why they're so strict on that, because it's such a big deal with Manuka honey. And they actually give the honey itself a UMF rating, and that's a unique Manuka Factor rating. And so that describes the potency of the honey. That is like quality guaranteed. It's a very big deal. I get it. I understand. And the lower the number, the lower the UMF rating, it's not going to be as potent. The higher the number, it's going to be more potent, right? And they have like medicinal levels that people can purchase. And I think that's about a UMF rating of like 15 to 20, give or take. I think the jar will say like UMF 15 plus and then UMF 20 plus. And there's even higher levels than that. Now, with that said, depending on the use, what you want to use it for, some people just for cosmetic purposes. Some people like to have like nice, smooth skin and glowing skin and things like that. So they might use it for like a facial routine, a regimen, something like that. So that's, a lower grade is absolutely fine. You wouldn't need anything medicinal for that. Along with that, it's said to help some scars fade too. So that goes with that lower grade possibly. It's not really medicinal purposes. People for digestion and things like that. So if you're going to straight up take some Manuka honey or dilute the honey in any which way and you want to use it for medicinal purposes. So say like you guys have GI issues or something like that, digestive issues, and you want to use or try this to see if this kind of helps with that. The best thing they recommend is to use a higher level or a more potent level of the honey. And the reason is because the potency will kind of fade once it's diluted with something or kind of goes into your system a little bit. So if you have questions about what kind to get, what strength, if you just go online and do a simple search, like something like UMF, Manuka honey, UMF levels, something like that, I think like an authorized site pops up that is related to the UMFHA, and then they give the levels and they talk about a little bit more in depth about what it's used for and what levels you might want to get, things like that. So with that said, let's talk for a second about cost. This is not cheap by any means. It's not cheap. It's not like you're walking into the store. You can go to your big warehouse type store that sells tons of things and grab a 3-pack of your raw honey and walk out for maybe $7, $8, $9, $10 with that. That's not this honey. So I got my honey and I got a UMF 20 plus rating, and I got that for my own reasons and my own purpose. But you guys might not want that. You may not even need that. So take a look at what you need, what you're thinking about. In fact, because it might be something new for a lot of people, it might be best to try something out, see how it works for you, because not everything is ideal for everyone. Some people could potentially have an allergic reaction. You got to think about that. And if you're allergic to bees, there could be a reaction from that. So it's something to think about. You might want to start small or like a lower grade level and see how it works for you. If you like it, try it for the things that you want to try it for and then go from there. But the average size, let me see. Okay, the size I got was almost 9 ounces, and I got that 9-ounce jar for about $100, give or take, right? So I found another site selling it online. Do your research a little bit. I found another site online selling that bottle for about $169, and that's a site I went to before for some other supplements and things like that, and I thought they were really good. But then I found this on a big, can I say who? Maybe. Okay, well, I can. I got mine from Costco. I went to Costco online. They didn't have it in store, but they had it online. So if you go online, I think I'm sure they can just ship it to your house. I think it's free for like, $75 and over, give or take, if you want to do something like that. Now, they did have a lower grade that was a UMF, I think 15, or was it 15 or 10? Don't quote me on that, but I think it was like 50, like half the price, 50, 55, give or take. But these things, when I read stuff like this and then I find out that there's some actual testing behind it, that is what I look for a lot of times. I don't look for things that people talk about and you see people jump on board to something because it's the newest, hottest thing out there. I'm not that person. I'm not that guy. I like things typically empirically based. I like scientific studies. I like to see, facts, objective things. That's important to me, right? Because I've been there, done that with like, oh wow, this is the hottest thing, the newest trend, let me just jump on that. I did that for so long, and that's not what I want to do anymore. I want to be very judicious with what I do, what I choose to put into my system and not, for that matter. But with that said, let me talk quickly about some possible side effects. So one thing I said is allergies, right? If you want to start taking this and implementing this into your daily routine, maybe consult a healthcare professional and see what they say about that if you want to do that. But allergies with bees, if you're allergic to bees, this could be something that's potentially bad, but then again, that could be with regular honey as well. So if you have that issue, be cautious of that. The second thing is if people are actually taking chemotherapy drugs, this could potentially interact with that. So as great as it is, that's one of the warnings that they have, that there's been some possible issues with people taking those types of medication and drugs. And then the last thing is definitely, I always talk about sugar levels and people with medical conditions like diabetes. That is absolutely of serious concern. You don't dive right in and say, let me just take a whole jar and eat this up and it's going to do wonders for my body. I always say the same thing every single time. For me, I look at both sides, one end of the spectrum and the other end as well at the same time. I can't look only, one direction in one way and not look around as well or look behind me, right? So that means for everything I put into my system or I'm thinking about putting into my system, I do see the pros of it, right? But I have to look on the flip end of that and see what some of the cons are. When I say cons, not that the product is bad, but some of the side effects, the potential side effects. It doesn't matter what you're putting into your system, whether herbs, certain supplements, vitamins, they all have some kind of, something out there that may affect or interact with medication you're taking, something for blood pressure, something for, just in general. I remember I was so big on like, oh, let me take turmeric, it's a big deal. It helps with inflammation and all that stuff. I had a bad reaction. So I took the most natural pill that I could find, try to get some in, and I was having like palpitations, and I felt weird, and I was sweating and stuff, and that's one of the potential side effects. And so it's not common for everybody to have side effects all the time, but definitely I will say the same thing time and time again. If in fact you're going to do that and you're thinking about that, just look into stuff like that, be cautious, do a little bit of research, do your homework, and figure stuff out and see if it works for you. With that said, hopefully this was helpful. Any questions, comments, concerns? Yes. Write me, let me know, talk to me. I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care. Always be well, be safe, be grateful. I'll talk to you guys soon. All right, bye.